Hey everybody, good morning. Happy Memorial Day week. This is Tony here with Rebel Financial. We have a guest, Densil Porteous from the Create Columbus Commission, an organization, and we're going to talk about what they do today, but really it's for young professionals here in town looking to affect change and make our city a better city here in Columbus. So we're going to go to the website in a little bit, not yet, Eileen, but in the meantime, let's get started by asking you to tell us what you guys, what is your purpose? What do you guys do?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here.
Sure.
I'm really excited to be here and be a part of this. The Create Columbus Commission, we've been around since 2007 as a commission of the city of Columbus, and then in 2017 became our independent organization, and then this last December became a 501c3 nonprofit. Our focus as the Create Columbus Commission is working to empower young professionals to co-create the city. We firmly believe that Columbus is sort of the great American city that people should be looking at and thinking about and really investing in as a place to call home, to grow professionally and personally. And so we think about what it means for a young professional to live their best life, to make a difference in the community, and ultimately to achieve their greatest potential.
Okay. And we talk about change, co-create. I mean, here's pretty old city, right?
Yeah.
And yet co-create, but we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in the coming decades.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I moved to the area in 1998. Columbus is not what it was in 1998, right. And I think even as a city that had been well established, and Columbus was doing great things back then. I think we understand that the way that our community and our world is changing so rapidly that we had to still continue to change and evolve as a city, and Columbus is doing a lot of that and doing it well and intentionally. I think we're thinking about how we tap all of the different communities that make our city so great, and bringing them together to create the great American city. Right. And so that's what we're about, right? Is how do we pull in young professionals into the conversation and dialogue about how we continue to make Columbus the great American city.
Okay. And by the way, I moved here in 2008, and it's changed a lot just in that time.
Yeah.
One of the downsides is the traffic, but it always makes me wonder when I think of the traffic, and I think, what traffic's going to look like in 20 to 30 years. Yeah. I think we're sort of in a conundrum with public transportation.
Yes.
It's like, where do you, how much do we add to that? Because we are now the largest city without I don't know if it's rail or public because we have buses.
Right. I think it's sort of a systemized or organized mass transit system in a way that many other cities of our size and ilk do have. I think that's actually a really great thing. I've been in Columbus or Ohio now for my second time since 2012. But I was born in Jamaica, West Indies. I grew up in New York City. I moved from New York City to Atlanta, Georgia, from Atlanta, Georgia to here, and then from here was in San Francisco for a number of years, and all of the cities that I've been in have had some sort of rail system or rapid transit that was allowing people from the suburbs to get easily into the city or from the city to get out. Mm-hmm. When you have a transit system that allows people to physically leave the boundaries of their space and where they live or exist, it really does actually level the playing field in a way. Right. It allows folks who can't afford to live in the city core to maybe live in the suburbs and commute into the city, or to live in some other areas that may not have the resources. So it's really essential, I think, for us to, at least in Columbus, and if you're going there, but I think in Columbus it's essential for us to look at that. The Create Columbus Commission actually a couple of years ago, that was one of our focus areas, was looking at transportation and transit in Columbus and how we could be a part of the change that we think is essential to make the city better, not just for our young professionals, but I think ultimately for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I would love nothing more than to not own a car.
Yeah, actually.
And like you said, there are people who, an automobile is a large part of their budget, and so to be able to get rid of that and to be able to get around better
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you think about it. Some folks, a car payment, and if you're lucky, if you can put down something or whatever it is, you might have $100 at the low end if you're lucky. But I mean, some folks are spending $500, $600 on a car note, and their rent is maybe just 2 times that, or whatever. Right. And I think that's a challenge. But if you think about being able to not have to have car payment, that puts a lot of people in a new space. That students who had college debt, right? Now they can only focus on paying college debt down and not have to worry about paying on a car payment. Single moms who are thinking, wow, I've got to actually worry about getting to work and paying for all these things for my kids. Now you don't have to think about that. That's one less thing you can think about. And so that extra money goes into savings, that goes into food, that goes into supplies. That could go into saying, I'm going to look at a new apartment in a different area of town because I have an extra $250, $300 that can raise me up into a new income level.
Right.
That's pretty astounding.
Well, and from our point of view, I'll add retirement planning too. Right?
And retirement planning.
A lot of people start too late for that. And, so there are people who spend way too much money on a car, but that's not
smart budgeting.
Right? Yeah, right. So you guys have grown a lot. I mean, as you told me. I mean, what's your size right now?
Yeah. So right now we're about 43, and that includes 12 board members, so active board members, and then the rest would be members of the commission, so general membership. And that's grown from when we were part of the city, and at times we were upwards of 30. But I think we're excited to add that depth of community members and engagement to the commission, and we hope that it will continue to grow intentionally. Right? We don't want to just grow it just haphazardly. We really want to be intentional about making sure that folks who are being a part of the commission and who want to be a part of it are there because they want to see the same things we want to see in terms of young professionals living their best life.
Right. Well, and I think it's important because as people get older, they get more set in their ways, and we need, especially in this time of change, right? And every year we see more and more change, and so we need that influence from young professionals. So what is a way? I mean, how are you looking for people to get involved with you on that?
Yeah. So we sort of have a couple of core programmatic areas, and we're expanding on those because now that we are independent, we've got to find ways to not only raise funds for the organization, but to ensure that we're sustainable, that we're really doing things that are impactful. And some of our programs that we look at, we have a Catalyst Grants program. And our grants program is awarding micro and macro grants to 501c3 organizations or individuals associated with organizations who are looking to impact and shape Columbus or the greater Columbus region with emphasis on young professionals.
Yeah.
So whether that is, for example, we partnered with or gave grants to BESA, which is a local volunteering organization. And they were looking at implementing a new system of software for management of their volunteers. We thought it was a really great investment to be able to say that this is a really great, smart idea. Let's see how we can be a part of this, because it's going to not only impact and shape how young professionals are engaging, but it would also impact Columbus. So we're looking at things like that. This year we're focusing or have a focus in our grants program on affordable housing. We feel affordable housing is a really important aspect of young professional success. To be able to say I can afford where I live and not have to worry about the cost of that in relation to all the other sort of associated items like a car note. So I think that's something that we are focused on with our grants program. Additionally, we have what we call learning trips. So annually, usually in the summer, we will take about 20 to 30 folks on learning trips in local communities in the Midwest. So we visited Pittsburgh one summer, Louisville another summer, and Detroit. So we'll continue those programs. And the great thing about that is it gives opportunities for not only individuals who want to learn about these cities to see what's happening and how they can bring that back to Columbus, but it gives corporations an opportunity to send their associates on these trips to say, hey, I really want to invest in your growth and development. I want you to understand what Columbus is about, because corporations are investing in bringing young folks to Columbus to make the city better. So that's something that's important for us in our learning trips. And then we do we run this under YP recognition, and YP recognition is our opportunity to sort of highlight the great things that young professionals are doing. We have a Visionary Award. It's renamed the Create Columbus Visionary Award, and that's given 4 times a year to a young professional who we think is helping us or helping the city of Columbus see ourselves in a new way, thinking about us in bigger and different lights, pushing us to new heights. And then we have the Reese Nieder Award, to sort of in the same vein, but it can also be given to an organization. So maybe an organization that's looking at how we're changing and thinking about Columbus, but really associated in the sort of the technology sphere, the startup hub area.
Okay.
And then we have an annual event called We Create Columbus, which recognizes sort of all of the work that we've done in the last year. This year we're looking at having that on September 26th. So those are some of the ways that people can plug into our programs.
Sure.
And then we have our annual application and process that comes in around October as well.
Well, let's do for the sake of time. And by the way, the first thing you're going to see, we're going to go to the website now, okay? And so, just so you know, it's Create Columbus at createcolumbus.com, because I'm not seeing the website here. Is that
you can actually get to us in two different ways. So you can go to createColumbusCommission.org, or you can go to createcolum.us. So it's a really
I am
it's a really of course we're always being creative. So create and then colum.
.us. That's us. That's awesome. And so when Densil said it, YP, just so you know, stands for Young Professionals. So let's take a look at it, because this is useful to see exactly what you do. And before I forget, let me make a point here too. You can go to the bottom and link to see where they're at with Twitter and also with Facebook, because they are pretty active on there, and you get some good information there. But in the meantime, let's go through the top here. So let's start with an important part, as you alluded to, the grant program. And this just gives us a little information on kind of the things that you're looking for, because if somebody wants the grant, they've got to go through the application process. Of course they do, right?
And our grant program right now, so we opened up this year's grant program on April 29th, and it runs through June 10th.
Okay.
And then after the June 10th, we will have rolling grant submissions. But the big moment will be June 10th. We expect people to submit grants.
So when we see these numbers here, improve personal financial health and wealth, and amplify the urban
pulse.
Thank you.
Pulse
items. And then position young professionals as co-creators of the city. So those are big categories, right? And then you could find your niche within there. But I think that's great. The health and wellness is really, for folks, is really necessary. I mean, that's a big problem with people. I know we talked about too housing, but we have so many people coming to Columbus, which is great. But it's also squeezing people in terms of,
I mean, I think I can't remember which article I recently read, but even at the rate at which we are creating new housing in Columbus, we still don't have enough. Which is astounding to me, to think that there's so much building going on, and they're still saying we don't have enough. And the rate at which the city is growing, that just means we've got to build faster, I guess. But it's amazing.
But that squeezes people.
Almost definitely, and it pushes people out depending on where we're looking.
So and then you can come here to a list of the commissioners as well.
I mean, I would encourage people to, if they have the opportunity, to at least just look at that. I think that is something that astounds me each and every day. I'm privileged to serve as the chair of the commission, but I think it's more of a privilege to be able to know that I can call on any of these people who are dynamic in their respective areas, and I would say, you sort of say at the top of their game, but at the top of their game for young professionals. They are impacting our cities in ways that I don't think people were prepared for, and that's awesome. And that's kind of talent and energy and excitement that we want to see coming to the commission are people who are saying, just because I'm young doesn't mean that I can't impact and make change happen. And that's great.
No, absolutely. So, and then of course there's the when we come to co-creator initiative, there's is this what we're talking about when we say the big event that we create?
So the co-creator initiatives it's really just a listing of some of our programs, sans the grant program, which we thought was important enough to pull out on its own. But going through that, the first thing you'll see is our We Create Columbus event, and that reflects actually last year's event. And then the Create Columbus Visionary Award is just a listing of the past award recipients from the Neater Award and our Visionary Award that are listed there. And then the Put a YP on Your Radar function allows you to nominate someone for the Reese Nader Award or the Visionary Award, or just to nominate someone for consideration for joining the Create Columbus Commission group.
No, that's awesome. And we're going back to the grant. So really, if you have a good idea, a good thought, and you need some money, some funds, this is a great way to try to help yourself.
And we encourage everyone to look at it, because I think the parameters are general enough that we want to ensure that we are capturing a wide range of grant submissions. So we try to keep the parameters general, but again within certain areas as you highlighted.
Yeah. What about people who have never done that before? I mean, it's great also, and I guess I'm asking. I don't mean to ask it in a question format, but grant writing is important when you're doing voluntary things, and there's what you have to learn how to do it. So you research it the best you can as you're putting something in. So.
Yeah, we do. We for our grants program, we do. If you go to the grants program page, we this year have included a set of FAQs, but we also just recently did an online. I think they've just done it, an online grants session where people were able to log in and sort of watch us talk about how they can go through the grant process. We do encourage people to communicate with us. I think at the bottom of the grants page, there's an email address folks can reach out to us to communicate about. But I think that's the important thing, right? You are correct. Grant writing is a special talent, and it takes a lot of time, I think, and dedication in terms of mostly the research to really understand what the organization is looking for, so that you can tailor your grant proposal to what they want to see.
Right.
So we definitely want to partner with folks who have those kinds of questions. And we are we're learning and training ourselves to ensure that we're doing it effectively as well.
Right.
We think about sort of our grant grading rubric every year. We want to make sure that we're offering moments where people can learn more about how to do it. So we do that.
Yeah. So last week we had the Economic Community Development Institute, the ECDI. And they're kind of a step below small businesses, but they're trying to help. I mean, it's a nonprofit organization trying to help, really small micro companies get started. And to do that, they got to write a grant.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's just a lot of areas where you can get grants and things like that. Yeah. So it is. We can't talk about that all day, but that is an important thing to look at and figure it out. So, and then connect.
It's our news and press releases and things like that. If you click on it, it'll take you to a page to reach out to us. But then under that is our sort of our news blurbs. And of course, to me, the most important button is that give button.
Well, I hope this does what I want it to do. Yeah, so
that should take you to Twitter.
This is going to take me to Twitter, and what I wanted to show was one of the most recent donations came from right here.
Oh,
from you. So
yes.
That's great.
Yeah, I think I do a lot of volunteering, and I don't volunteer for things that I don't believe in, and so why shouldn't I give to something in which I believe, and that's important. So I firmly believe if you believe in young professionals, if you believe in Columbus and the community and creating something that's going to be long-standing after I'm gone, after we're gone, then giving to the organization really helps that, and it helps with the grants, right? It helps us fund the grant work that we want to do. But I volunteer for a lot of organizations, so that giving thing happens quite often.
You got your hooks in there, yeah. So no, that's great. I just wanted to point that out. So. But if you're a young professional and you've got some good ideas, please connect with Create Columbus Commission and see in ways that you can participate and help in what we're doing. I mean, there are a lot that we've learned as we do these broadcasts, how many great organizations there are. And so to have some great leadership from you and the other folks that are helping, I think it bodes well for Columbus's future and for your organization specifically, so.
Thank you very much. I mean, I think it's important for us as a city not to only think about the ways that the city can help us, but to think about the ways that private citizens can help the city be better at what it does. And that's just exactly what the Create Columbus Commission is doing, is to think about how can we help our private citizens, but how can we also motivate and encourage the city to be better, do better, and think about us in different ways.
Right. I mean, ultimately, the drive has to come from us private citizens.
Correct.
Right? So,
correct.
Well, Densil, thank you.
So
it was
much.
great talking to you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and so please, go to our Twitter, Facebook, and like us and things like that. And please submit any kind of questions you have. We'll pass those on, the ones that we can't answer. But thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next Friday.